This conference will now be recorded.
Hi Raju, let's start. So I think in last session, right, we have discussed about EBS volumes, but we just discussed about what are the EBS volumes, what is different types of EBS, the storages, as well as we also discussed about how to create volumes, assign the volumes, and create file systems, right? So in this session, what we are going to discuss is about different types of volumes actually. Yeah, different types of, like in EBS itself, we have different options. Let's discuss on that one. And if the time permits, right, we also discuss about AMIs or we'll discuss about snapshots. Okay, so let's deploy a machine and then let's see how exactly we're going to utilize it. So I'm going to launch an instance and I'm going to select this. T2 micro is fine. I'm going to select some subnet, open subnet. So add storage. So if you see by default, what will happen is it will take a volume, 8 GB volume, or you can actually increase it up to 16 TB. What we are going to discuss, which once the machine is deployed, right, we discuss about different types of volumes available here. Okay, we'll go to that later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one by default. So I'm going to add tags. I'm going to give a name as like this, and I'm going to give EBS testing. Yeah, configure security group and review and launch it. Okay, let it come. Now the plan is I'm going to add additional volumes to this server. For that, I'm going to go to the volumes here. So here, if I want to add additional volumes, if you see this is EBS testing, right? So what you need to understand is basically, so this is a root volume. Root volume is, this is where the operating system was being allocated. So the machine operating system resides in this EBS volume, EBS testing root volume. Now to add the additional volume, the plan is to create a volume. Now once you click on create volume, right, so here you see like different types of EBS volumes available. Yeah, different types of EBS volumes available. Now, so the first two, right, general purpose SSD as well as provisioned IOPS. Okay, Raju, I think I'm not able to hear you if you are talking something. Yeah, just want to let you know. Now we have general purpose SSD, as we also have provisioned IOPS. Yeah, tell me. Looks like there is issue with your microphone. Did we complete it about all these things? About IOPS, calculator, everything? Sure. Okay, so I know that I have created the last class, right? What I did was last class I have created the volume, assigned the volume, create the partition, create the file system, how to expand the file system, all these things I have created. This session we are going to discuss about type of these volumes. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. So okay guys, hi HP and Mohit. Yeah, now we are discussing about that. If you let me cancel is, what I'm trying to do is just to be on the same side. So I have deployed a server here which is EB testing. So I'm going to go to the volumes and I'm assigning a new volume for it. So I'm going to click on create a volume, and inside the volume you see you have 5 different types of EBS volumes are available. Okay, now in these 5 different types, right, first two is general purpose SSD and provisioned IOPS SSD. So we need to discuss about this one. So general, which is GP2, which is general purpose SSD. Second one is IO1, which is provisioned IOPS. Now, what is the basic difference between general purpose SSD and provisioned IOPS? We need to discuss on this. Yeah. So, sorry, IOPS SSD. Now, general SSD, 1 GB is the minimum and 16 TB is the maximum. of the drive. And this is also same in case of provisioned IOPS also. Now the major change is, imagine if there is a disk, right? If I say that what a disk, let's take an example. Imagine you bought a new bike, okay, like something like Royal Enfield or whatever the Bullet or whatever it is, Apache, whatever it is, okay. Now imagine I'm going to ask you what is the power of your bike. So what you are going to say? You're going to say like 200 cc, 350 cc, 500 cc, 1000 cc. You're going to say that in cc's, right? So similarly, when it comes to the disk, right? So the performance of a disk, the performance a disk is calculated based on IOPS. So more the IOPS, what is IOPS? Input, output per second. Okay, more the IOPS and is equal to more the performance. This is the calculation. Okay, the IOPS is more and there will be more performance. In general, what you need to understand is, so there are normally two types of drives. Okay, in general we have SSD, which is solid state disks. Okay, wherever you see SSD, it's a solid state disk. The other one is called mechanical drives. Mechanical drives such as SATA, SAS, etc., etc. Now here, if you go back, so what you can see 5. So if you see general purpose SSD as well as provision IOPS SSD, this falls under SSD, solid state disks. Whereas remaining all three, right, cold, throughput and magnetic, standard, ST1, SC1, all these threes falls under mechanical drives. Okay, just remember that one. Now comes the differences between IO1 and GP2, because what will happen is, imagine if I select GP2, right, you will say here, for example, it will say that 300 IOPS. If I select SSD, we can also give how many IOPS I want here. Now, the moment if I select any of these three, right, you don't have IOPS. You just get something like 12 Mbps per TB or 40 Mbps per TB. If I select standard, there is no dedicated performance. So IOPS are not applicable for these three. Remember that. You should be think about that one. Okay. Now, so only IOPS are applicable for general purpose SSD as well as provision IOPS. Now, this is the first we'll go to SSD. What is the calculation is, in general purpose, it will be minimum of 100 IOPS, minimum 100 IOPS, max 10,000 IOPS. Now, in general purpose SSD, right, the calculation is 3 IOPS per GB. That is the calculation. That means if I select 100 GB, 100 into 3, I'll get 300 IOPS. Doesn't mean that if I select 10 GB, 10 into 3, 30. The minimum is 100, by the way. So that is why if I go here, right, if I give 100, now you see IOPS is 300. If I change it to 200, it will go to 600 IOPS because into 3, right? But if I select to 50, 150. But if I change it to 30 into 3, you won't go to 90, it will go to minimum of 100. Okay, so the thing you need to understand is general purpose SSD, the IOPS is directly proportional to the size. So more the size, more the IOPS, but the minimum is 100, maximum is 10,000. That means if I give 10,000, don't think that into 3, 30,000. The maximum you will get is 10,000 IOPS for greater than this one. Okay, hold on guys, let me have some water. Okay, so now let's see 3 IOPS per GB. Okay, now how exactly the provisioned IOPS or SSD? See, the provisioned IOPS in the minimum is 100. I accept that. Minimum IOPS is 100. but max IOPS is 32,000. Earlier it was 20,000, but now it is 32,000. Okay, if I select, okay, minimum 100 IOPS, maximum is 30,000. The major difference is here is the calculation of provisioned IOPS is it is actually 50 IOPS per GB basically. Okay, that means, let me tell you, if I select 100 GB, if I go to general purpose, if I select 100 GB, by default I'll get 300 IOPS. I can't change that. I can't increase that or decrease that. If I want increase or decrease, I need to change the size. Okay, but in provisioned IOPS for 100 GB, okay, I can go IOPS as it is like 5,000. If I put 6,000, let's say, I should get error actually. Yeah, so it should be maximum ratio permitted is 50:1. Okay, like this. So 50:1 IOPS. So that is what you need to understand. That means this gives, provision IOPS gives more performance. Obviously, this is costly. See, I'm going to put concentration on provision and general purpose IOPS because these three, right? See, what will happen earlier, SSDs are very costly. So that is the reason not many people are opted for SSDs. Now, nowadays, what will happen? SSDs became cheaper. So maybe in coming days, right, in a few years, they might be able to remove all these three also. Because doesn't matter, because you get more performance in these two. There is no point people are using these three. Maybe old servers are using it. Slowly, they might decommission this one. Okay, and there is not much to explain, but I'll tell you what is the use case for this one. Now I'm going to take an example of a real-time requirement here. Now client says that client request 10 TB volume with 40,000 IOPS for a database needs. This is the requirement. Now how we are going to do that? See, obviously you know that maximum IOPS of GP2 is 10,000, as well as means provision IOPS is 32,000. So obviously we can't give 110 TB volume to satisfy the IOPS. So the best way I can see here is, if I take 4 into 3333, that comes to totally, let's see, if I select if I go to general purpose, I'm going to select 3334 actually, not 3, because you'll get 9999. I'll make it 4. So you'll get 10,000 IOPS. So what I'll say, I can't put 3 into 3334, because if I put 3 into 3334, what will happen? You will get somewhere around, basically around 10 TB. But the problem is, you will get somewhere around, so you will get 10 TB, which is needed for customer, but IOPS is only 30,000. Which is not suitable, right? Obviously, one drive will get 10,000. So obviously, 3 drives will get 30,000. So what I propose is, instead of 3, let's put another one extra, which is 1 into 3334 is equal to 3 TB with IOPS 10,000, total of 40,000. Now I propose this to customer. Obviously, customer will can say that no, this is not good, because unnecessarily I don't want to pay for 3 TB. So I don't want this. So customer says that, okay, if you don't want to use this way, there is other way to do that one. How I'm going to do that is, instead of I'm going to use provisioned IOPS, I'm going to simply do 2 into 5 TB is equal to 10 TB, and each one I'll get 2 into obviously 20,000 is equal to 40,000 IOPS, something like this. See, if I go back, I simply select provisioned IOPS. I'll say that 5120. I can go up to 20,000 easily. So I'm going to put like this. So what will happen? So this satisfies the requirement, right? Pretty much satisfy the requirement. So obviously 10 TB and 40,000 is pakka. So it's clear. Any questions, guys, here? Something you didn't understand? Guys, any questions here? Chalo. Put in chat if you don't have any question. Yeah, okay, fine. Chalo. I hope you don't question. Now the problem I can see is what is the price, because I told you provision IOPS is costly. So what I'm going to do is, this is the time where I'm going to show you a AWS calculator. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to say that AWS calculator. I'm going to open AWS calculator here. Now let's see, because if I show this customer will say let's go use the provision IOPS, because anyway I need to pay extra for 3 TB. I don't want to go for GP2, but we need to tell what is the cost or cost associated with this one, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to here I'm going to say that let's select EC2, right? This is EC2 is selected. Now if I come down, EC2 instances, dedicated host, now EBS volumes is there. Now I click on add volume. I'm going to select 4 volumes. Each volume is basically 3334. Okay, so obviously I'll get 40,000 IOPS here. So you can calculate what is 3334 into 4 divided by 1024. That's 13 TB, right? So 13 TB is the one which you are going to get. Now let's see the charges. So for 13 TB, okay, let's calculate for first of all for 3 volumes. That means for 10 TB. So 10 TB with general purpose SSD you are getting. So for 30,000 IOPS you're going to get 997. Okay, so $997. And additionally, if you take this one terabyte, what will happen? So you will get additional $330. 330. Yeah. Now let's see what will happen if I select 2 provisioned IOPS and I'll say 5120 and IOPS is 20,000. Now earlier it was baseline was showing 160 drive. Okay, let me show you. I'm going to show you again. So general purpose, if I select 3334, so I'm getting, if you see general purpose is giving a baseline throughput of 160 Mbps per second. Remember this, okay? This is very important. Okay, good. So 160. So here that means you will get a throughput. That means each drive will give a throughput of 160 Mbps. That is what. Now if I change it to solid state, provisioned IOPS, and I'm going to select 5120, and I want 20,000 IOPS. So if you see, I'm getting 320 Mbps per second, which is actually double the performance of this one, general purpose. But if I go up, you see it is costing you somewhere around, each drive is costing you around $2134. What I want is I want 2 drives. So the calculation is 4268. So you need to pay 4268 here. Now a casual mathematics 4268 minus 997 minus 330. So you are paying somewhere around, that's it, right? So let's, okay, 330 plus 997 is equal to 1327. Okay, 4268 minus 1327 is equal to, so you are paying extra of 2,941, but you are getting double the performance here. Okay, you are getting double the performance. So you need to make a decision here. You need to ask the client, you need to say per drive you will get 160 MB, which it is showing here, yeah, 100 MB per second. Whereas here you are going to get basically 320 MB per second. So if you want more, you can also go more actually, because you can go up to 32,000 actually, but that's the max looks like, because you can go maximum of 50, right? So if I calculate 5120 into 50, anyway, that's the, so you can go up to maximum of 32,000 only, not more than that one. Yeah, you'll get that 320. So this you need to show it to the customers. We see the number of IOPS increases, the bill increases. So if you want lesser IOPS, for example, okay, what I'll do is I'll go for 4 into 3334, each one is 10,000. Still you'll get more performance. So 3334, right? Still you'll get somewhere same bill actually, 4693. Earlier it was 4263, like this. Okay, so this is how you need to give it to customer, saying that one, if you select the appropriate storage, then it is good for you, otherwise it will be impact, you need to pay extra bill. So here you need to understand which one I need to use. I'll tell you, I'll take a scenario of SQL drive and tell you how exactly you need to sort out the storage. Now coming back, see, I'm really not going to explain you much about cold HDD or throughput optimized, all this thing, because these are all you need to use it for the stuff, for the environment such as like testing or development or backups, or where you want to dump the data, right? There you can use these type of drives. So what I want to do is, let me tell you, I want to deploy a SQL server here. Okay, if I need to deploy a SQL server, how I need to select the drives. Now in SQL, or if MS SQL, basically Microsoft SQL, so obviously we should have a C drive, which is a OS drive. Okay, so you also need to have a D drive, which is basically data or SQL data, and you need to have a L or L drive, or I want to say like let's put like this, M drive for SQL data, N drive for SQL logs, and you need a T drive for temp DB, and you need P drive for a virtual memory or page file. So that's it. These are, we also need to have X drive for backups. I mean, if you want to take the SQL backups, right, you need to have X drive basically. Now, what are the different types of drives I need to choose in order to deploy this one? So for the operating system, right, I'm going to select GP2, which is General Purpose SSD. But for SQL data and SQL logs, you require a very high performance, because in databases, right, it is the log files, which is transaction logs, and data files requires a huge performance. So I'm going to go IO1, which is provisioned IOPS. I'm going to select provisioned IOPS here. Now tempdb, we are going to use, listen very carefully, we're going to use tempdb instance store. I told you already, right? In volumes you have instance storage, instance store volumes, as well as EBS volumes, which is temporary volume, right? So we're going to use the same instance store for page file also if required. If you have enough space, you can use this one or put in C drive. Finally, backups, right? You can use any of this drive. I can say like I'm going to use throughput optimized HDD, which is, it will give 40 Mbps. Okay, I select yes T1. This is what you need to propose when you are deploying a SQL server, so that you will understand, the person who sees it understand, okay, so this guy has selected data, SQL data and logs for high performance because it required more performance. Okay, now do you understand where and exactly why we need to use the different types of EBS volumes? Any questions here, guys?
No.
Mohit?
No.
Okay, chalo. Raju? Chalo. Now what we need to understand is, once we create the volume, right, basically we need to understand, when you create a volume, I already told you that volume should be in the same location where the machine is. So don't expect you create a volume in US is to 1B and try to attach it for 1C. That means you are taking a volume that is in that is in a different availability zone, that means different building, and trying to map that to a server which is in a different building. So imagine like your office is there in Magarpatta and one office is there in Erwada, right? You are taking a volume in Magarpatta trying to map it to Erwada, which is not possible, by the way. So the volume should be in the same place where you have the server also. So that is a golden rule here. Now coming back, so snapshots, right? Snapshots time won't be enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about AMIs. Okay, now what exactly is an AMI? AMI stands for Amazon Machine Image. Okay, so whenever you launch an instance, let me tell you, whenever you launch an instance, here every image will have a AMI. Every image. Now let me tell you one thing very important. Just because the name is same, if you go to other region, don't expect AMI will be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to put ES is to 2, and let's see what will happen. Okay, come on, come on. Okay, now if you see Amazon Linux AMI 2018, same name. If I copy, if I go Control F and I paste it here, it will select. See, the green is selected. Now here the AMI ID in North Virginia, which is US East one, is ending with 8, 6 and 7. If I go to the same here, if you see, it is B7, it is not the same. So you need to be aware of that one, that AMI IDs are not same across the regions. Okay, now by default what we used to do whenever we want to deploy something, right, we go here, quick start, we select a machine and deploy it. But this is not the case in real time. In real time you're not going to use these vanilla flavors, because what is a vanilla flavor? That means it is nothing, it's a plain OS. There is no hardening, or there is no required softwares or antivirus or any HDS or HPS, intrusion detection, nothing. It is less a plain OS, that's it. Now in real time what we'll do is we'll deploy a machine using this one, and then we put all necessary softwares, and then we'll convert into our own custom image. That is where my AMIs will come into picture here. So right now we don't have any AMIs here. Right now I didn't create anything, so you're not able to see anything here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to create it. So for that, we already have a machine which is EBS testing. I'm going to log into the server. Yes. Okay, we are going to install all the necessary things here. Okay, so what are necessary things? For example, imagine I want to install I'm not sure Git is there. Git seems to be not there, so I'm going to install the Git. Okay, so first yum update -y. I'm going to run all the package updates. Good. Let's wait. After that, I'm going to install some packages such as tree, git, ntps, stuff like that. And I want to convert this into image, and let's see if we can deploy it from that image. Okay, right. Now I'm going to install yum install. I'm going to install something like tree, which is a good software. And okay, good. So what is a tree is, if I put tree etc, it will give it all the tree structure for me. See, like this, it will normally you won't get this one, so it will give a tree structure, branches and everything. So what I'll do is I also install Nginx server, which is required. Why? Because we're going to use this same AMI image during the auto scaling. So I'm going to show how to install. So like yum install Nginx -y. Okay, service Nginx start, check config Nginx on. Why? Because if you use check config, right, if the machine is rebooted, still the machine will restart. I mean, sorry, the service will restart. So if you don't use this one, right, if the machine reboots, right, the Nginx service will not start. So I'm just make it on. What else we install? We install Git as well. Yeah, yum install git -y. Good, right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into a complete image basically. Yeah, so even what we can do, if we want to create some users as well, I want to make some changes, because I also want to deploy I want to log into this server using password. So I want to create a default user here. So let me create. So I'm going to say like I'm going to create a user called admin2, user add admin2. I'm going to put some password for admin2. Okay. Oh, come on. Done. Now what I'm going to do is I need to allow, right? Because just because I created a user and assigned a password doesn't mean that it will be able to log in. So I need to do two things. One is allow password authentication. Second is make this user as an admin. It's not mandatory, but I'll do that. For that, what I'm going to do is nano sorry, etc ssh etc sshd config. So come way down, you should see somewhere yeah, passwords authentication is showing no, right? I'm going to give it yes. I'm going to restart. Okay, and I also want to make this admin2 as a basically a sudo user. For that I need to use vi sudo okay. So what you need to do here is Here I'm going to give admin 2 tab, and I'm going to use this thing. Yeah. So escape colon. This is for Vim. That's why normally if it is nano, right, control X, W and control X come out, but this is Vim actually. So W and Q, right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this into an image. How we are going to do that? Very simple. You come here, right click, image, create image. You give the images my golden image. Normally for Windows, whatever, you can do that one. So, and if you don't want to reboot, you can put it, but it is always better to reboot because there will be file consistency. So create an image, click on OK. So what will happen at the back end? First it will create a snapshot. Once the snapshot, which we are going to talk tomorrow, by the way, once the snapshot is created, then it will create an image here. See, my golden image, it is starting. It's getting created. Hold on, please. Once this is created, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy this. See, launch option here. I'm going to deploy this image, and I should get all the softwares and users and everything inside. That is the plan. So let's see. Come on. Little time, so we just give some time. Okay, done. So if you see, it's created. Now what I'm going to do is, if you can actually launch from here, or you can also go from instances, launch a instance. Now instead of selecting here, go to my AMIs, which you are able to see it here. Okay, now you can able to select. So you have other options also. My marketplace as community AMIs, right? So basically my marketplace is nothing but a third-party application. So see, Juniper, Barracuda, F5. So there are a lot of third-party. Like if you don't want to use the security group firewall, you can actually deploy the Barracuda firewall. See, this is also a machines. Don't think that these are something coming from an alien or something. So if you select it, right, these are also Barracuda cloud generation firewall. See, what is the difference is the this is also AMI, which is having Barracuda software inside. Now once you deploy it, basically there are two charges will be associated with that. One is for the type of EC2 machine, because you need to use only this type of, only whatever they are mentioned, right, only these machines need to be used. For that there is a EC2 charge, which it will go for AWS. Apart from that, there is a software charge also here. See here, this will be given to Barracuda. Okay, now it is not mandatory like software you need to pay for this one, because there are some. For example, if I type WordPress, right, for example, in WordPress we have like WordPress certified Bitnami. If I select it, right, so if you see, it is free, the software is free, but you need to pay for EC2. So that is what as a marketplace actually. So third-party applications, even you can also deploy your own machine here. For example, you want to have a hardened machine, because security hardened machine. If I put, see, Ubuntu harden, you see hardening Ubuntu 16.04 like this. If you want to have a hardened Red Hat, sorry. See, hardened Red Hat 7.3. That means, what is meant by hardened? PCI hardened. See here. What is that mean? That means they have closed all the security vulnerabilities and everything, so that you can directly deploy it. Okay. For that, you also, if you select it, right, you need to pay for them, like software. I means you need to pay for this hardened Red Hat for 0 point per hour, and EC2 you need to pay for this one. You can also deploy it. Community AMIs are something like you can share it, like people who share it, means even I can share whatever the AMI, right, I can share, then it will become community actually. So anyway, so I go to my AMIs, use where is my AMIs? Nothing is showing. That's because here I need to close. Yeah, see my golden image, select T2 micro, configure details, add storage, add tags. I'll say image new server, review and launch it, launch it. Let's see what will happen. Hold on, guys. If I go to view instance, okay, this is running new server. I'm going to select it. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to admin to at the rate, put like this. So if you go to SSH key, there is no SSH key. Okay, right? So then open it. Let's see what will happen. Why? Let's see. Let's log in first of all and check it out. Something is wrong. Hope it is didn't create, deleted the user. Maybe deleted, who knows. First, let's see whether the softwares are working fine or not. So the Nginx, right? Nginx status. Yeah, it's working. See, yeah, if I copy and paste it here, I should get Nginx. See, similarly, tree is working. Yeah, tree is working. Git is working. Yeah, Git is also working. Only thing is cat etc password admin2 is there. Yeah, why it is not logging in? Okay, let's try to. So admin2, no supported authentication methods. Okay, let's see. Nano et sssd ssh. Oh, okay, looks like they didn't properly saved, man. Or I don't know. Okay. Okay. Okay, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open. I should be able to log in using the see. That's it. So let's see if I'm able to sudo or not. Yes. Okay, so this is how you can able to convert into an image. So image contains everything, like whatever the users you want to create, as well as softwares, everything. This is how you convert into image and start deploying, because this is required when I'm telling you about auto scaling here, right? If I come down, you have something called auto scaling, which is very, very important. Okay, so that's it for the day. Tomorrow the session will be about snapshots. So how exactly snapshot works and how we can use it, and if time permits, then I just give you an overview of load balancer. So tomorrow mostly I'll cover the how the snapshot works, and next let's see. Yeah, any questions now?
So basically,
Mhm.
the image which the AMI which we are seeing, that is
Mhm.
a snapshot of the image we have created. Is it that?
No, what happened at the back end is this is the instance, right? So we have
Yes.
converted this testing into a image, right click, and I did this, right? So what exactly happened? First, it will create a snapshot, which is
Yeah.
something like this. See, created by create image, and then it is actually displaying that one as a image here. So what you need to understand it is not actually there, just a name is there. Backend, it is just a snapshot.
Okay. Okay.
So for example, imagine this particular image should be available around the world for all the locations, right? What you can do, simply right click, you can simply select copy AMI. Now it will ask you where exactly, you select whichever region you want. So your AMI will
Okay.
be copied to there. And moreover, if you see my AMI, right, it is assigned with the IDC AMI ID, which is a new AMI ID, which is earlier it was used to be a small number, 7 or 8 digit. Now they are giving very big number.
Mm, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how to do the decommission? Select these two, right click, instant state, terminate, which is very important. After that, I'll come to AMIs. I'm going to right click and deregister. Once it is done, go back to the snapshot, which is very important. The snapshot won't be deleted. So right click, delete. This is how you know the decommission. So if I go to volumes, so these two will get deleted because the machines are getting terminated, right? Along with that one, these two volumes also will get deleted. Okay, don't worry, I'll do that one. So that's it for today, guys. Let's meet up tomorrow, discuss about snapshots, and also we'll discuss about we'll try to at least start the load balancer stuff tomorrow. Yeah,
Yep.
thank you then. See you
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys. Yeah.